Welcome back to another video. My name is Henrik and today we're going to be looking at the updated EX40. EX40, yes, they have changed the name to align with all the other electric models that they have on their lineup. The EX90 for instance in the future, the EX30 and now also the EX40 that we have here, and we're going to take a look at everything. We also have it in the special edition which is the black edition, so one thing that has come out new, and all the updates that come with the 2025 model year. So make sure to stay tuned and we'll check it right out. So what is special about the black edition? Well, as you can tell, it is black.
Crazy.
And the other thing that you also get is you can only get it in the Plus or the Ultra variant, so the two top lines. We have it in the Ultra variant, meaning this car is going to cost you 69,200 euros, because we also have the twin performance motor in here, and we also have all the extras that you can basically get in this. So the top of the line. Starting price of the new EX40 is now at 49,990 euros. With, for instance, the business package that you get in there, you also get the Matrix LED Thor's hammer lights, which are pixel lights, so they blend out oncoming traffic, and they look very nice in my opinion. Further down we can see every element is black, well, because of the black edition. Down here we have a little bit of fake touches there with all light in there as well. Down here we have a little bit of a front spoiler with obviously the black edition. Everything is black, like I said. We do have a little bit of air cooling in there, and up here it's an electric car, so you don't need too much electric cooling, and the badge up here is also black. The color on here is also the Onyx Black metallic color. When the sun comes on here, they have like this kind of sprinkling effect at some parts, making it look a little bit purple, which I kind of like. Almost like the RS5 competition color that we had on there. A little bit like that. That's it for the front. We do also have front in there. We're going to talk about that a little bit further on. Dimensions of the car are also as following. You got 17.1 centimeters of ground clearance, 4 meters and 44 long, 1 meter and 65 tall, and also a 1 meter and 86 wide. So a fairly compact SUV. Those are the sizes of that, and that's a little bug on there. Again, on the side, everything is black. You also get these black rims on here, which are 20-inch rims, looking very nice. So light metal wheels on there. They look pretty cool. Down here, or up here, we also have our black side mirrors, which are automatically foldable. So if you lock the door, okay, I have the other door open a little bit, but it's going to close in. Actually, if I do this, no, it's not going to do it because the door is open. One thing that is pretty funny, well, not funny, but it just sadly happened. You can see we have this like black pillar bar on there, but back here it actually flew off, and now it creates a lot of wind turbulence in there and makes the car very loud from the interior. I don't know why it flew off, how it flew off, and I just noticed it a couple of minutes ago when we looked at the car while standing here. I thought it was the panoramic window at first that made those loud noises, but it actually is this thing that flew off. As you can see, the wind's going to come out here and then just going to create a lot of wind turbulence. Well, I don't know how it flew off, but it did. On the back here, we also have tinted rear windows. We have keyless go in the front, or not keyless go, but key-free entry in the front and also in the back. And one thing that's also pretty cool, if you open the door, you can see the silhouette goes all the way down. So you're not gonna, if you step in, you're not gonna make your feet dirty or something like that, because the dirt goes on the outside, not on the inside. And on the other side, we also are able to charge the car now with an updated speed up to 200 kilowatts an hour, or kilowatts, and the updated battery size now at 82 kilowatts an hour, which is usable 79 of them. We did a charging test from 16 up to 80%. Claimed is around 28 minutes from 10 to 80%, so a little bit well, less than we got. We got a total of 29 minutes to go from 16 to 80%. We loaded a total of 49.7 kilowatts an hour with an average speed of 102.7 kilowatts. The one thing that is like typical Volvos on the new electric variants is that it goes down in a straight line. The EX30, however, is just the one that we have experienced a little bit of a different kind of, well, loading curve, which goes like this, goes down, and like that. That has been the most efficient one because you get a very constant speed for a good amount of time, drops down, and more efficient, and then at the end it's still at a fairly high speed. However, with the EX40, it drops down at around 60%. You only get around 90 kilowatts, which is still not bad, but just going to take a little bit longer than is claimed. That is what I've experienced, and the max charging speed we were able to get was 180.4 kilowatts. So still a fairly good value. However, it is not the fastest and is not especially the value that is claimed. However, still a fairly decent one in my opinion. In the back, you're only going to be able to notice that this is the black edition because the EX40 logo is blacked out and also the Volvo logo on top is blacked out. Looks pretty cool. Definitely do like the styling of the whole black edition touches. Everything down here is also black. You are going to be able to tow with the twin motor performance up to 1,800 kilograms, so quite high for an electric car. And also we get a very practical trunk in here, where you're going to be able to store up to, well, 410 up to 1,286. In future videos, we are going to take a ruler just so we can actually give you a centimeter value, because that I think is a little bit more practical in my opinion. It is also fairly practical because you can lift this up and you have a little bit of a shopping bag that you can put in there. You also get some lights in the back and also a little bit more storage space down here where you could theoretically also put your charging cable in there. But the charging cable you can also put in the front where we have a frunk, which has a total capacity of 31 liters. And also, like you see, we can put our charging cables in here, where you have a good amount of storage space. 31 liters is quite all right. Let's talk about the engine variants. So the car is going to have, well, 4 different versions now with the new model year. You get the single motor, you get the single motor extended range, you get the twin motor, and also the twin motor performance. The twin motor is, well, I don't know, why did they not just combine the twin motor performance into the twin motor? Because there's only a price difference of 1,000 euros in them, but the twin motor performance gets you 40 horsepower more, or well, a little bit less than 406 up to now 442 with the twin motor performance. I think they should have just combined them both, because 1,000 euros, and if you get the twin motor, you're most likely just a person that drives a little bit faster and just uses this car to have some fun. If you get the single motor extended range, that's obviously if you want to use this car as your daily and want to use it for a longer distance as well. So I think they could have just combined those two just to save one hassle of having 4 different variants. But 442 horsepower with 670 newton meters, let's quickly do a 0 to 100 test to see how fast it is. There's nowhere where you can completely turn off the traction control, so we're just going to have to fully pedal it to the metal, if that's the way you say it. So let's brake fully here. And hold the brake down, start to accelerate and push it. 4.6 seconds is claimed, 442 horsepower and 670 newton meters. We got 4.69 seconds. So fairly close to what is claimed. And we did have an incline of around 1.8%, so 4.6 is definitely doable. And that is one hell of a quick punch. Wow. And the back is also fairly spacious. As you can see, it's adjusted to me on the front, so I'm 1.80 or 5'11" or 6 foot. You can see there is quite a good amount of knee room, and also leg room is quite nice, so you can put your feet in there quite nicely. Because it is on the CMA platform, so a modular platform, you do still have a center tunnel in here, simply due to the fact that you also have the same car as the combustion car on this platform. If you would theoretically just get a complete EV platform, then you wouldn't obviously have that center tunnel, and therefore the center seat, so if you're sitting in here with 3 people, might not be the nicest over long journeys, so just for short trips should be nice. But this is also very nice and squishy. In the center we do also have an armrest with 2 cup holders, and we could theoretically also lift this up and from the back open it so we can put some stuff through the center. The seats in here are also fairly comfortable. We do obviously have we don't have the wall seats, because that is the option if you get the black edition. They said everything needs to be black in the interior, so they didn't choose to put the wall seats in here, but rather the black ones with the suede leather and also Alcantara in there, which looks pretty cool. We also have a big panoramic window which does open fairly widely, so you have a ton of, well, very nice panoramic views in here, and just makes the cabin feel very spacious. Spacious. Let's now take it for a drive, and first of all, let's quickly take a look at the interior. We do have the typical big display in the center, well, not too big, but a okayly sized one with YouTube, Google Maps, so a Google platform based system, which is nice, but it doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto wirelessly. You need to theoretically connect it via USB-C down here. You do have your digital dials, not your digital dials, your physical dials, for instance, for your volume, skip songs, and just some quick binds, which is nice. I do like that, and they just feel very high quality as well. I really do like these vents. Up here, okay quality, Harman Kardon sound system, which you get with the business package, so 600 watts and 13 speakers. You get this nice element in here, which also illuminates into a white, like kind of way at night, which does look pretty cool as well. Inductive loading down here, which works with my phone. Every Volkswagen car, well, doesn't work with like iPhone 13 Plus or 14 Plus, and well, my iPhone 15 does work on here, and it charges very good. We do have the digital, or not the digital, why I keep saying digital, the dial in here. So your gear shifter, which if you don't get the wall seats, is not going to be in the crystal, so no crystal in here. 2 cup holders, good amount of storage space in here. Theoretically, if you want to put some trash in there, I personally don't like putting trash into my car, so I don't have that in there. And the other thing that I noticed, I don't know what you use this for. Theoretically, you could use it as a phone holder, so you can put your phone like there, but I don't know what else that is. Like, what do you put in there? It's too small to put anything in there, even if I put like okay, that works. If you can put it for a GoPro battery in there. Steering wheel feels very nicely in your hand, but let's start off driving and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So the steering wheel, just like any other Volvo steering wheel, does feel good, and I really do like it. It is a fairly thick one, completely round, and now with all the new Volvos you don't have any like piano black on the dials in here, but rather physical buttons which are in a matte color. I do like that. Otherwise we do have a little bit of piano black in the center there, and definitely a lot down here, which might not be the nicest because that does get dirty quite quickly. Surrounding view of the car is also very decent. You can see front is a fairly big windshield. On the side you have a good amount of views, and on the back you have a fairly big rear window, which does make it nice and easy to look out the back. The panoramic window also very good because you can open it fairly wide. We'll put a close-up of it, so we'll work out that a little bit later. It does go basically to the center, and at around 100 it still sounds fairly decent here. One thing that I did tell you about was the sound of that window in the back, because it is not isolated correctly anymore. If we accelerate a little bit more, you can hear it. You'll hear the noise of it because it's just wind turbulence that's created by that little stitch out that there is. Obviously, if you get the car new, it's most likely not going to be like that. If it is, definitely go back to your car dealer because he sold you something that shouldn't be sold. We have memory function here. Harman Kardon sound system is not the best that you can get from Volvo, but is the best that you can get in this vehicle. You do obviously have the Bowen Wilkinsons with our 2380 watt or 180 watt. Those just sound fantastic. These are still okay, not great, not bad. Digital cockpit shows you everything that you basically need to show with Google Maps in there. Really do like that, and very basic and just minimalistic, which I do like. You have no heads-up display, which you can get in EX40. I think that would have been a nice thing for a compact premium SUV. A heads-up display would have been something that I would have personally liked. Quality in here, like I already mentioned, is fairly good. We do not have the wall seats anymore. Those were on every single test car that we've previously had. And I really liked them for the climatization, but they were very itchy on your skin if you were wearing shorts. These are good, well, they're good for not being itchy, but they're not as nicely climatized as the wall seats, but still offer very good comfort, and they really, well, just are comfortable. You have quite a lot of safety features in here as well. You have the LED on your side mirrors for your blind spot assistant. That is always nice and very nicely integrated into there. Travel assist, which works okay. If you turn it on here for a second, you have to press this button, and you can see it is now selected at around 85, and it does also have steering assist in there in the center, but well, because there's no center line on this road, it doesn't know where to drive. We'll look at that a little bit later on, but it is a little bit junky, and it adjusts quite a lot, and therefore not the most comfortable, but it does work. So it's not great, it's also not bad, just like the sound system. So because we do have the twin motor performance, we can go into the settings and we get 3 different drive modes. If we go into the drive, we can see we have standard, performance and off-road. If we go into the performance, the car gives you 442 horsepower. That is generated by 2 motors. In the front you have an asynchronized motor, which is a little bit more lighter, around 13 kilograms lighter, does higher RPMs and just a little bit more efficient. And it does also turn off when it's not needed, so you're not needing the most amount of output. If you're cruising, for instance, on the highway, that front one is going to shut off just for more efficiency. The rear one is a permanently synchronized magnet motor, which is a little more heavy, but they in total produce 442 horsepower with around 670 Newton meters. You can obviously only go up to 180, but 180 is still okay. I mean, this car, if you're getting the twin performance mode car, you're only getting it for the driving experience and having a little bit more joy behind it. That is, well, you don't really need much joy over 180, but you want it on country roads where you can just accelerate and just have that punch. If we show you the punch here for a second, let's go from 50 up to around 70 and just show you how quick it is. Yeah, 50, 70. It's insanely quick. It is super quick, especially at those like 20 to 60, 70, 80. It is just a very, very quick car and just feels like a joy to drive. The suspension in here is a little bit more on the stiffer side, so it's a little bit more hard. It is obviously supposed to be performance-based, and it does, well, it doesn't smooth up the bumps too much, but you do get a good amount of feedback of what the road is telling you and what the car is telling you. It's a good balance between comfortable and also well, sportiness, just due to the fact that you could theoretically do longer trips in these, because the suspension just doesn't feel like, okay, I don't want to step in it and do a long trip because my ass is going to hurt after a while or my back is going to hurt. it is a good mix between them two. And the performance is just definitely there. Let's quickly turn around and do one more trip, or actually no, we'll go straight on and we'll do it. In the city, the car, obviously if you put it in standard mode, is going to have an okay fuel consumption, or not fuel consumption, but consumption in general. It is okay, it's not great, because it is on the CMA platform, so a modular platform. You are going to have a CV value which is comparable to a combustion car of 0.329, which is fairly high. There is a range test where we did, so you can check it out on the top right corner. But let's take a look at the consumption that I've been getting while driving this car now for the last 160 kilometers for a very combined fuel consumption. Not fuel consumption, but energy consumption around the city, and also going uphill, driving a little bit country roads. We got 21.1 kilowatts an hour. The car is claimed around 17.4 up to around 19.4, so also a little more on the higher side, but that's obviously your 442 horsepower and just not the most efficient car. It is still, however, completely plausible. You are going to get around 450 kilometers. If you drive complete like an ape, you're going to get around 200 kilometers of range, but that's the same with if you, for instance, driving an RS6 competition or performance. You don't get too much range as well. And now let's do it one more time, go into the performance and see the punch. It's starting to rain now, sadly. But let's go from 50, let's quickly accelerate a little bit down. Let's go from around 40. And just how quick that acceleration is. And that is uphill now as well. And it does kick you back, and it doesn't stop the acceleration. And it does give you quite the joy. So if you're really looking for something on the EX40 that gives you the performance, the twin motor performance is definitely the way to go. So my final verdict on the EX40, well, I really do like the design of the black edition, with everything being in black and just the way it looks a little bit more sporty, and a couple of people actually look at the car and being like, that's a pretty cool looking EX40. I do like that. The loading curve of this car is fairly decent. You do get a very nice sporty driving feeling with the black edition and also with the twin motor performance. Like I said, it would have been nice if they would have just combined the twin motor and also the twin motor performance. A couple other things that they could have theoretically changed, but in general, I am a big fan of the EX40, and I think it is a fairly good compact SUV, which I personally do like as your personal first car, or not your first car, but your first choice car. So I really do like the car, and hopefully you did too. So let me know in the comments what you think of it, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.